edible Faye. Yeah, it sounds like she might be edible in a second. And with that, welcome back to Scum and Villainy, Stardancer, episode 9.
9?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not saying no right now. I'm saying 9, a number one less than 10. Holy schlamoli. That's
Holy salmon muffin.
Holy salmon muffin, which is apparently a thing, and actually pretty tasty. Kind of salty, but I'll take it. Well, we're here. Yay. Hi, everybody.
I missed you all.
Yeah, me too.
Gosh.
2 weeks feels like a long time. I think because we had, like, right before Go Play, I think we switched to 2 weeks in a row, and then we had Go Play where we actually saw each other, and then we had a game.
We literally played that Thursday after, so we had 3 weeks in a row, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, that was really great. I mean, I don't want to do that all the time. I have other things I would like to do also. Also, it was really, really great to join a boy band with you all.
Oh, I should send you the rest of those pictures.
You should send us those pictures.
Amazing.
Let me write a note right now.
Because
for all of you used in chat, when we got together and met each other in person, for whatever reason, we had a very awesome and handy camera person, and then we all did poses. And among those poses involved all of us trying to pretend that we were a '90s boy band.
I don't know who was pretending. I certainly wasn't pretending. This was my inner boy band.
I was going to say
coming out.
It was
right
pretty
now.
well embodied. I was very impressed.
Yeah, I did not feel like I was faking anything there.
That's what comes with being best friends with a amateur photographer.
Badass amateur photographer. So good. We look awesome, if I may say so myself.
We did.
Awesome.
I'm trying to scroll back through tweets so that I can link one. But that was weeks ago. So in Twitterland, that was forever ago.
Several eons.
Luckily, I don't tweet that much anymore. Oh, wait, I bet I can find it so fast. Let me do it.
It's a race.
So, anyways, now we're in space.
Yep.
Yes. We're planet side in space. And somebody came to collect on a ship that they like to think is theirs, but we really don't want to tell them or Lauren that it definitely belongs to Faye and Boz. Or
Definitely belongs to us.
Yep, it's ours.
Well, as far as the paperwork is concerned, that is a true statement.
Exactly.
It belongs to Stacy Mulligan and the Stacy Mulligan band.
We're like a bluegrass family band.
I cannot wait for that gig poster. So good.
Fans out there, artists, you know what to make. All right, let me jump in and do the quick recap.
Where are we at?
We landed on planet Emirath, which is a wonderful garden world that we've likened to Space Hawaii. Our crew, we started the whole shenanigans with a friend of Loren's named Carrie, who's a doctor, showing up. And we found out that Carrie and Loren used to be a thing, which caused Faye to storm off with some jealousy. And Boz followed. Yeah, so Boz followed shortly thereafter, after making sure that all of the Sun Eaters and their stuff had been displaced and they had taken off, and there was no like lingering people or folks trying to do sabotage or anything like that happening. Boz proceeded to play action therapist and got Faye to confess her feelings in words. There was some drinking involved and trips to a mendicant temple. Meanwhile, there was a brief attempt by Loren to rekindle this
a date gone bad.
And that ended poorly. Loren sought some solace in the arms of someone in the red light district. That didn't work out very well either.
But it was so good. I thought about it a lot.
There was lots of tears and it was very sad. Let's see here. Okay. Boz and Faye went to temple, hung out with some of the mendicant priests, had some discussions with them, found out a little bit about their crazy religion, made friends with a Memish mystic named
while hot tubbing.
while hot tubbing.
Sorry, that was more important
Rollerblading.
than Boyan's name. I apologize.
And Faye got to hang out with some rowdy pirate people, which is where Loren found her. And for once, Faye got to blow Loren off, which was kind of a very interesting reversal of character arcs there. Meanwhile, Boz had a heart-to-heart with Aya about the nature of being a badass killing machine and dealing with the lives that you take. And after all was said and done, everybody was returning to the ship, only to find out that the ship had already been boarded. And we got to meet the leader of the Janus Syndicate, one Victor Bax, who's a funny accented dude, wears a bracelet on the other hand, exactly the same as, well, it's a matching set with Faye's. It's not exactly the same.
The mirror
and
of Faye's.
obviously, as you folks are walking up, so it's you've got Loren, you've got Oz, you've got Faye, and as you walk on the ship, and Victor Bax makes his introduction, as you see all the little red lights from the guns that all of the Janus Syndicate members are pointing in your general direction, and you folks are standing there with like a Boyan behind you, and that's the current scenario that we're gonna jump right into. So,
Awesome.
as you recall, Victor Bax mentioned that he referred to your Stardancer as his pretty little beaut, and mentioned that he needed a job for a little lady that could vanish off the radar. As we all know, the Stardancer has a cloaking device, which is pretty rare in this world. So.
Yep.
So that's where we are. That's the kind of tight scenario that everybody finds themselves in. What do you find folks do?
Faye goes to give Victor a hug because it's been a long time and they were familial. So she opens her arms and says, "Victor, it's been so like after she's been like, I need you to do this." She's like, "It's been so long," and she tries to cut through some of the laser pointers on her by being friendly, and so I'm walking towards him to see like, does he bristle? Does he like want to like we didn't leave on good terms, but Faye's gonna pretend like things are good. What's that?
Do you want to study him? Do you want to read him?
Yeah.
Are you trying to gather info about how he feels about you and what kind of you're on?
That's exactly what I'm trying to do. So I'm studying him by way of showing him like I'm ready to be friendly and talk and see if he is amicable to that.
How honest are you about this?
I'm honest about wanting to talk. I don't like have any plans of like sneaking up to him and sticking a knife in his gut or shooting him.
Do you feel familiar towards him, or is this largely
Oh, I want to be. I just don't know if we're there. I definitely want to be okay with Victor. I left in a bad way, but I didn't mean to leave in a bad way. I wasn't like, forget you. I just was being shot at and I flew away.
Steal his ship.
I did, but that's because I was being shot at. Right?
Didn't have time to give it back. Been busy.
And I kind of have had to do other things since then that I was trying to avoid getting shot at. So my desire to patch things up with Victor is real.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Let's see if I have the right sheets and things pulled up before I switches over. Just so that it looks all fancy when we go to the screen. Yay, there we go. I remember how to do things again. Cool. So yes, I would love to study him. Is this a fortune roll or is this an action roll?
It's just a fortune roll right now.
Cool. All right.
So you read some, but you don't know everything.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think what happens
sounds
is,
like my life.
You smile, you gesture wide with your hands, you approach him as if you're going to give him a big hug, and you see that he gives you that, like, you've seen this before. So one of the things about the Janus Syndicate is that before the Janus Syndicate does business with anyone, Victor Bax insists that he meets them.
Yeah.
And this has made some really interesting legends about him because he's escaped police attempts to capture him so many times that there's nicknames and stories and whatnot. But he has a particular look where he's sizing someone up and kind of like trying to get a feel or a read from them.
Yeah.
And then as you like you haven't really had that from him, right? Like he kind of he knows you, he cares for you, he appreciates you.
Sure.
That was the last that you knew, but like as you approach him, you get the sense that he's reading you and he's treating you as like more of a business partner than necessarily a familial relation.
That's fine. So I stop and I go, okay, we're not there. That's fine. And I like adjust my jacket and like I shake a few of my jangles and I say, that's fine. We'll get back. We'll get back. Have I told you what we've been up to? I have so many stories. A lot of them involve when we were doing that deal and we were helping out the Cobalt Syndicate and then we were getting shot at. And like I'm just about to like start telling a yarn. I'm like, let me tell you about the, you know, when the Imperial and then I say, oh, but you need us to do something really fast. And so I'm going to stop wasting time. And I'm just going to cut to the chase and tell you that unfortunately it got to us too late because we had some bad pirate interaction. And I like point to like some of the parts in the ship where it's still like, even though we've had it repaired, where there's still like some scorch marks and the grappling hooks have hit them. I'm like, we sort of got boarded and the ship was really damaged. And now we have to do a job for the Maelstrom. And I can't really say no to them. And then I like point over my shoulder at Bosun, who's behind me.
Boyan,
yeah. Because he's
Boysenberry.
Boyan. Bosun. Sure thing. That's a thing that's on a ship.
True.
So this is where I'm totally lying because
cool. So that's going to be a sway roll, and it's going to be risky.
Yep.
Because you're trying to sell them on the fact that you've not only got a job for pirates, but somehow this job is like super important, and you can't bear not to do it.
Yeah. Well, I'm not telling him I can't do his job. I'm just telling him I can't do his job
This
immediately.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Totally.
So just you get ready to roll your sway, please.
Yep.
And I think that as the crew kind of like comes up and there's like, you know, like little laser sights and everything like showing up and you hear the muscle and you see the people around. Boyan actually leans close to Baz and said, like, as we're near, board, he goes like, friends of yours, and then Victor Bax does this little song and dance, puts on his little accent on the show.
Yeah.
And then when the guns and everything get pointed, he's like, not friends of yours. And then he just mentions, he essentially asks Baz like, so what's the play here?
We wait until Faye doesn't pull it off.
No faith. No
That's
faith
not
at
true.
all.
I'm waiting.
So go ahead and throw them bones. But I think that he looks at you and he says, like, do you pray often? And he reaches into his robes and pulls out a small figurine.
Nice. So I want to say, like, I can't say no to them right as he's reaching into his robes. So it looks like he might be pulling something else out if I can coordinate it. I mean, that's mostly just for the visual aesthetic of the move.
Into it.
I think also as this is happening, Lauren is kind of like subtly getting closer to Faye and is definitely going to help you with this role.
Cool. How would you like to help?
Yeah, what's that look like?
I think I just want to back up your story and I'm going to play that I'm very afraid of the pirates. So
look what they did to me.
Yeah,
I
don't know. This is what happened when I said no to pirates before, and I just like they really need us to do this, and I'm so sorry, Mr. Bax, was it? I'm so sorry. We would love to work with you at a future date, but right now, just the pirates. You've met pirates,
I think he'll be smiles and charm and be like, "Yeah, there, mate. No worries. We'll figure it out."
And I like reach for his hand. And I take both of his hands and shake them. I'm like, thank you. Just like,
nice.
Like, such a sad sack.
I happen to do business with pirates, but you should roll your dice.
Yep. All right. I'm gonna roll sway because this is exactly what I'm doing. I'm gonna take a helping die. Do you have a devil's bargain you're itching to give me? Because if not, I am ready to push because I would really like to not get all them threes this time. But if you have a devil's bargain, you're like, this is perfect.
Oh, do we have our gambits?
Mm.
I don't know if we have our gambits because we haven't technically started the score, right?
Got it.
Yeah, your gambits reset at the beginning of the score, but you do have gambits if they're on.
Oh,
Is this still downtime?
yeah.
It is still
It's still
downtime.
downtime. We had some
Until
gambits left
engagement call,
over.
essentially.
We have one.
We have one.
So you can spend a gambit if you want.
Yeah, I'm totally gonna spend it. Not only do I want to win, but since I can get gambits back when I spend them, it's extra worth it.
Gambit making machine.
That's my hope. That's what I want to be. All right. So I'm going to push. So that's going to be a total of 3 bonus dice. 1 from the gambit, 1 from the push, and 1 from the help. What effect is standard?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey.
Yeah.
One of them in there.
You managed. I'll pop that gambit right back out because that's a fey power.
Fey power.
I think that Victor Bax smiles at Loren, and like you mentioned, you grab both his hands and he says "Don't worry, we'll sort it out." I have to work with pirates. They owe me a favor or 3, and they couldn't possibly say no to something like this. And you managed to convince them straight up. You're like, listen, we're doing a job for the pirates. We're in the middle of a job. We're gonna have to kind of do this thing. We'll be happy to do your thing, just not now. That was your intent, right, Sean?
That's exactly my intent.
And he says well, I think we could work something out as long as you all agree to get me the things what I need. He turns around and he says, "Come, let's crack open a bottle of something. I saw that you had a galley on this ship." And he whirls his finger around. And he's like, "Come on, I'll give you the details. Let's discuss the terms." And starts sauntering into your ship like he's been invited.
I think I got a whole lot of 0 command, but Faye nevertheless bristles. She flips up her collar, tries to look bigger, and she's like, "Wait a second, Victor. I said we would do a job for you. I didn't say we work for you." And I try to circumvent myself. I try to walk around him to get in front of him. And I'm like, "Now why don't you come onto our ship as welcome guests?" And it's this, it's a total an ego thing.
Yeah.
He doesn't get to invite himself on. I have to be the one to tell him you're welcome.
I see.
But I do totally.
Sprint in front of him and then do that.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I don't think there's a role here. I think that you're playing a card and he thinks that it's kind of cute and charming, and he's getting everything he wants. And the thing that you know about him is that the Janus Syndicate are at their core. He's a businessman, proper right? He's not he understands that shooting the golden goose is not going to get you everywhere. He's not necessarily cruel unless he has to be. Yeah. So he's going to get everything he does, and all you want is just a little bit of recognition, a
little respect, a little acknowledgement.
I don't think there's a role here because there's no real obstacle to him. He's getting everything he wants. You're getting mostly everything you want.
Yeah.
So I think that there's this moment where Bourne's like, "I guess prayers work," and he just puts the little statuette back in his robe.
Very good.
All right.
So I'm going to describe a couple of quick scenes, and if you folks want to interrupt and change how the flow goes, please do that.
Sure.
I feel like I'm just going to give you 3 or 4 bullet points about what he wants as his job and how he's kind of leveraging things.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be at least one thing that he demands that there's probably going to be a nope. So you guys go to the galley.
There's one thing I want to do is as we go, I want to flavor the conversation with "Oh yeah, sorry, that the engine is still fried from when we were attacked by pirates." And I'm trying to just back up what I said with all truths. That happened from the pirate attack, and that happened. So it's perhaps a little over the top, but Faye over the top. Faye being talking too much. But anyway, yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. And in the process of, everyone shuffling on board and Boyan being like, just like, Faye's that good. Welcome to the Stardancer.
I think also anytime Faye is across from Victor, from Lauren's like, no, it just keeps doing these like, why are you like this? Can you not be?
Why are you talking?
Be just chill. And then like Victor turns around and he does this like nervous face of like, oh yes, the pirates, they were horrible.
Awesome.
Wait,
Buzz
there's-
does her darndest to look small and quiet and drift, right? Just do. I'm not
Do
here.
you position yourself so that you can take on the people should the
Duh. Yeah, of course. Every
Yeah.
time.
I feel like that's a given. Yeah.
Absolutely. For sure. And I have a new friend to do this with, maybe, which is also really exciting.
So there's this moment when this is actually kind of the tense moment. So
Yeah.
Victor Bax walks into your galley, and is Faye leading the way in?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
very
So
much.
then what you realize is that your galley, I assume, has like a long table with maybe some lights on it that you folks usually gather around to eat. That can
Sure.
potentially support slightly larger crew because your ship isn't running at full capacity, right?
Right. And I think there's also
well-
like a big like the kitchen side of it is like open format. So it's like kitchen, you just sort of turn around, there's a big counter between the kitchen and that. So there's also like casual eating, like leaning on the kitchen counter too, kind of stuff that we do
Absolutely.
when we're just like not actually sitting down for dinner.
So Victor is going to pretend that these people aren't here, but the first thing you see when you enter the galley is that there's two Janus thugs sitting next to the seat at the head of the table, and inside that seat, like gagged and kind of making slightly unhappy noises, is Carrie, the doctor, who had returned to the ship to pick up supplies from all of the medical stations and whatnot that she had brought on board. But yeah, she doesn't seem to be in like bad shape. It looks like they just put like duct tape on her mouth and around her wrists, or like something, like space duct tape.
Space duct tape, yeah.
And so so Victor is going to pretend like there is not this hugely distressed woman right there, and sit down and pick up a couple of glasses and pour drinks and have a discussion about business, as if this person is not here at all, being guarded by two muscly people,
I think
as an implied threat.
as soon as Lauren sees her, he says, Carrie, and rushes over to her as close as he can get.
Awesome.
Is he
Yeah.
allowed to?
You
get
reach
close to her?
within like maybe 2 feet, and then one of the big dudes who actually, so this is very rare, by the way, usually only higher rank guild people have these. He has like a cybernetic eye and like a metallic arm, and like half his head is shaved, and he has like a cool swoop on the other side. So anyway, as you approach, like you're totally dashing towards her and everything's fine, and then he just takes a step forward and like juts that cybernetic arm into your chest and will not let you approach like more than like 2 feet close.
So I stop and I turn to Victor and I'm like, okay, I'm a nervous dude who's afraid of pirates right now.
Yeah.
And
sorry. I want to give Lorraine a look of like, I've got your back if you want me to. Like I look to Lorraine like, do you want me to say something?
well, I think I see that, acknowledge it, say, Mr. Bax, this is Carrie, my wife, and is it all right if we take her out of, if we take the, would that be okay?
So unless you give me some sort of role here, in general, what he's going to do is he's going to set the glasses down and say like, have a seat, let's talk business. Don't worry about her, she'll be fine.
I'll try to sway him.
Okay. Do you have any leverage? Like, what are you trying to appeal to here?
Well, just that I'm lying. She's definitely not my wife. She's probably really mad at me.
Even if you're married, you need to like either give him something or give him a reason to do this. As it stands, he set up this position to basically tell all of you, like, listen, I'm holding the cards and you're going to do this job and I'm going to tell you how it's going to go. And so what you're saying is like, please release your leverage to me. And he goes like, clearly you haven't gotten the point. Please sit down. So
Right. So my thought, but I don't know if it makes.
You can maybe sway to convince him that you are genuinely afraid of him, and you understand and you agree to everything as long as he just lets her go. Any of these things are possible. I'm not making it too difficult. I just need a clear approach that isn't just, well, can you just let her go?
Oh, what are you thinking, Sean? I have a thought.
Well, my thought was I was going to say she's part of our crew, and that he needs to let her. He needs to treat my crew with respect. But I think now that
Stitch.
What?
That's our Stitch.
That's our Stitch, right? I mean, that could go along with that's my wife, but that would be a command role where I would get up in his face and be like, "That's our crew, let her go," which Faye is terrible at, but I'd be happy to roll it.
I think I prefer it this way, where he continues on and basically is like, no, I'm not letting her go. And I'm like, Mr. Bax, we're going to do anything we ask you to do. Please just let my wife free, please. We're here to listen. We respect you entirely. Which I suspect that the other crew members are not particularly happy with me saying these things, but I'm going to try to sway him with that. And I assume this is controlled. Is it? Yes.
Thanks, Josh's.
I'm thinking. Let me roll some dice. I'll tell you if it's controlled or not.
Okay.
No, it's not controlled.
Okay, it's risky then.
It is risky.
Okay, standard effect.
Yeah, I think you should spend that gambit we have left over.
Okay. Great. Oh!
Hey!
Go Gambit! Go Gambit!
Yeah, great.
Gambit makes all the difference.
Nice.
I think that Victor says Victor smiles slowly, and what he says is, "I was not aware that you've been recently married, Mr. Hex," showing that he's clearly done some research on the crew, right? But he looks at the two guys next to Carrie and says, "Boys," and then turns back to the drink as if the matter's been resolved, and they're like, and they quickly get to like cutting the bonds off and like removing her gag and everything. Yeah, no consequences. That's why it was risky, by the way, is because he's done some research on you, but he's like,
yes, I see.
But it's not infallible, right? It's not
just that. It's also, you're the kind of crew that wouldn't pass hegemonic papers for marriage for your tax reports and things like that. So
yeah.
Taxes. What?
What?
Kind of lets it slide. All right, cool. So he's gonna outline the job, unless somebody stops him. So there's gonna be like a sequence of shots of him giving speeches and putting on airs and like playing with his hat and whatnot. Anyway, what he's gonna tell you roughly is that damn it, I have to. Like, as you lot know, from time to time, things are found sometimes just floating right in space. He talks about the fact that the Starshippers found an old ship outside of the system. It was literally like far away in a way that they couldn't get to via hyperspace lanes. And so they had sent out a crew and pulled it back in. And currently there's a Legion blockade around it. And what he needs is a ship that can slip past the Legion blockade without arousing suspicion, because neither him nor his entire group has any chance of actually trying to muscle their way in. So what he wants is for people to go on that ship and patch either their drive or the schematic of their drive and return it to him. There's this really cool scene where he like does one of those things where he has like a little disc or something, and when he pops it open, it pops out like 3D little holographic displays. And he mentions that the ship has a drive that can access lanes that aren't on the maps. Now, interestingly enough, Faye, you recognize at least half of those lanes as being dark hyperspace lanes that you've been mapping.
Yeah.
But he points out that he needs this, and he needs it for a different job. So yeah, he's like, you and your crew would be perfect, like, to slip right on through. pluck out that little engine or those schematics and just walk it on right back to me. And he mentions, he's like, you know,
Yeah.
we have some bad feels, and theoretically the ship belongs to me, but you do this for me, you hand it over, no questions asked, and we'll consider something square. Now this is where he puts the catch on you, right? And I'm waiting for the appropriate crew responses, but he says like, so does that sound grand? And if you folks are like, yeah, sure, we've just got some other things to do, unless somebody says no.
Yeah, just one question. I'm sure he would have mentioned it. Where is the ship? What system is it in?
It's in the Breck system.
It's in the Breck system, which is where we're heading, right? We're going to the Breck system. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Cool. So no objections thus far.
Is he lying about any of these things?
He's very careful of shading the truth on some things, like what he needs it for and what he knows about that ship. He is definitely not lying about its location, its defenses, how dangerous the job is, or the fact that as long as you folks do this, no questions asked, and just escape or accept what is essentially small peanuts kind of payment for this sort of engine heist job, he will not necessarily come after you with ill will afterwards. So all of that is pretty true. He's very, very careful about like what he's going to use it for and the full capabilities of it and things like that. He doesn't necessarily outright lie, but the one thing, like if everyone agrees, like if everyone's like, yeah, okay, fine, we can do business, you know, he says, good. Well then, I'll just leave one of my boys here to make sure that, you know, there's no funny business, and he'll keep me appraised of things as they go. And I believe with that concludes all the negotiations.
And like we've been like drinking and, you know, being relatively congenial and as he's been gesturing and he's like, I think that, you know, finished all negotiations. And Faye's like, oh, except for the one thing where this is my ship and my crew. And we had room for one, but we just got someone new. And I point to Claire. So the crew quarters are all filled up.
Oh, Carrie. For a second, I was like, Claire?
Carrie. I can't remember names at all in this game. Other games I can.
Like, little, like index cards.
Start writing them down.
I do.
No, it's all good.
And I don't say that like it's a logistical issue. Like, oh, I don't have a badge for her. I mean, that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying I don't have room for your people.
Crony.
Yeah, your crony. This is our crew. I'm commanding, which I'm terrible at, but that's what I'm doing. Like I'm not trying to lie to him. I'm trying to tell him nope.
So give me are you trying to say no, you will not leave a person on my ship?
Yep.
Or are you saying you can leave a person on the ship as long as they understand that I'm in charge?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
Yeah, depending on which one it is.
You know, I actually
one is not risky, the other one is.
I mean, as much as like the sort of this is where I think it's fun to examine our instincts, because there's still a part of me that played D&D when I was 12 and says like never trust an NPC, never whatever. And then I remember I'm not 12 and like having a person that we don't like or trust on the ship that's watching us could be kind of fun and cool. So I think I'm going to re-examine that and
Cool.
go for that second option and just say like, and instead of being super defensive about, no, they can be on their ship because who knows what they might see. It is the, yeah, fine. You can leave someone, but you know, I'll assign them quarters. I'll tell them where they can shit and sleep and do things. And basically we're there.
Right.
You're not running the show.
Do you want to give me a controlled command roll?
Yeah, sure. That sounds great. I'd love to do that. I'm trying to think of a devil's bargain that I could
any number of devil's bargains would involve saying that, you know, this person will have access to different areas of your ship, but you know, they just have to listen to your orders. Essentially giving him full access to your ship where he can like see what you're doing, hear what you're saying, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Do you want help from Boz by the way of a
I would love help from Boz. Boz helping would make a lot of sense, I think.
Awesome. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. How does this sound, Strush? I want to up the ante a little bit for the job because he showed like the various hyperspace lanes. Some of them I recognized, but I assume there's also some that he didn't have that we know about.
Sure.
And I say like, what about, or not? I say he's going to be under our supervision because I wouldn't want him to use those outdated and incomplete hyperspace lanes when we have a full set that we would be happy to share with our friends with whoever you're going to leave.
We'll give
Like-
you guys routes that we have that you don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to butter him up a little bit, but still, I mean, it's still a command. I think I don't know, but yeah, I'm trying to sweeten the pot for him a little and say like, I'll share with you some of our routes.
Sure. Yeah,
But
that's
it's
fine.
important. Cool. Let's do this, and it's controlled, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So I'm taking one bonus die from the Devil's Bargain and one from your help, Oz. Is that
Sure.
correct?
And I feel like this help is sort of tonally in contrast because Boz will sort of just step and be like, hey, he's going to be a guest on our ship, an honored guest, and just sort of frown deeply, like an implied threat that goes with like the air quotes around honored guest.
Nice. Honored guest. Never so threatening.
It reminds me of
Let's-
that short where Superman tries to be the bad cop in interrogation and Batman's just like coffee and the person like spills all the beans.
Delightful.
Nice. All right. Next.
Cool.
Is-
Cool.
well, because we had bonus dice, that was a 4 instead of a 1.
Woot woot.
So I think just yeah, okay. So I think he's going to agree to it, but there's going to be a minor complication.
Okay.
What that complication is, you'll find out later.
Cool.
He's
It's,
totally sleeping in my bunk.
So yeah, I think that unless there's any other further ado from the rest of you,
Who's he leaving?
it's gonna be the weird cyberduck dude.
Ew.
Yeah.
It's all right. Just throw him in a bathtub of water and just short out.
So I think that's it. He's gonna
Cool.
Awesome.
pack up his crew and tip his hat and saunter off the landing strip of your ship kind of thing, and that's gonna be that. Does anybody else have anything? So here's the interesting question: when he like takes when he gets off, like all of you are basically like left to the ship to your own devices, but you're getting ready to leave. What happens from that point on? Like Jury, Loren, Carrie's there, and she's just like, what is going on? Like, what kind of business are you in? Who are these people? But like, like quiet in the corner.
I think she also is probably like, why did you say I was your wife? It's not,
Yeah, there's definitely
like, I am not your wife. I will never be your wife. How dare you?
That bad date's a little
Great.
fresh.
so yeah, so what do you guys do with Carrie? He's been sold as the Mrs. Hex here.
Well, I think I try to calm her down. I'm like, everything's okay, Carrie. We got a job and that's fine. And this is what we're doing right now. And I know that you're not actually my wife, but for the benefit of Cyber Buddy over there, I'm gonna need you to stay on the ship with us for a little while.
She's like, I don't know how you expect me to do that. I'm a doctor. I have a practice. I have a job. I have an apartment. I have a cat.
We have a med bay. I mean,
She like goes livid and quiet for a second. Then she's like, I am not planning to sleep in a med bay.
At this juncture, Boz will mosey over and be like, "Hi, what was your name?"
Carrie, I
Carrie-
believe you met briefly when I showed up with medical supplies to treat the wounds of this crew.
Yeah. Anyway, I can show you where the bunks are.
I don't want a bunk. I want to get off this ship and back to my house where life is not crazy and large men with weapons do not put bindings on me.
The
Carrie,
path to
Carrie.
that is where the bunk is. You should probably at least maybe go do that.
Yeah, I don't think that you want these people to catch on to the fact that you're not my wife. It could go badly for you, could go badly for us. So just a short little trip to the Breck system. I will bring you back, and if you'll just set an away message for your clients, I'm sure you have someone who takes care of the cat. We would take him with us, but Burden, I don't think they'd get along. And I think Burden bounds past with a giant bone in his mouth or something. And he's just slobbering all over, and he's fucking enormous.
People ride them like horses, yes.
Yeah.
I think that she looks at you quiet and livid, and then looks at Boz, and then looks back at you. And then again, feel free to resist this if you wish, but I think she just slaps you.
Oh
super
yeah,
hard.
she does.
Can I punctuate that slap by having the because Faye has left and is not in this conversation, by having the engines fire on? That's when the Stardancer engines cut on.
That sounds great. And then she glares at you and goes, "Lauren Hex, you're a jerk." Because I have it written down that the Lauren is a jerk is the official name of episode 8. Just a call back to that. And then she stalks off. Actually, she turns to Boz and says, "About my bunk." And Boz, do you lead her away?
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
No problem.
I think the camera stays in the where we are in the kitchen for a little bit, and Lauren is holding his face, and he's like, I deserve that.
And the camera just pans to the table for a split second, and you notice that whatever was left in the bottle that you folks were sharing with Victor Bax, Boyan is pouring into glasses, and he slides one over across the table towards Lauren, and goes, "I think I like this crew," and just drinks whatever's in his glass.
Oh man.
So unless anybody has anything else, I think that's going to be seen.
No,
Yeah.
that's great.
Very cool.
Superb.
All right, so this is going to be a jolly ship for a while.
Oh my
Yep.
gosh.
It's a crowded ship, man. We've got
Very.
Burden, we've got Boyan,
And Bar
We've got
Hazuk, who we haven't seen
Bar-Hazuk.
yet.
we've got Carrie.
B's and then C.
Yep.
Now we
Okay.
need a D character.
Okay.
All right. So cool. So are you folks jumping into a job? Are you planning to do anything? Because it's still going to be about a day out to the gate, and then a day it's going to be quite a bit past the gate to whichever direction you folks decide to go. So what are the plans for the crew?
I would love to have a scene where the three of us have found a time to separate from everyone else on the ship to talk about what we're actually going to do.
Like in the bathroom, like the tiny little, we just like we all show up to the bathroom at the same time, right?
And we're all standing like this.
It's that scene with Poe Dameron and Finn, and when he's like, "I'm rescuing you," and they tuck in, but it's even tighter because it's three of us in this.
Yeah.
We're all squinched together. And Faye's looking up at Lauren because he's so much taller than she is. He's like,
So Lauren's looking down and he's like, we really need to finish this Conclave 01 job.
"Yeah, that's what. Why? Yeah. Why do you think
Okay.
I told the whole story to Victor? Well, that, and he doesn't get to tell us what to do.
Yeah, forget
But-
Victor.
Well, we can't forget him entirely.
He
'cause-
does get to tell us what to do. I didn't actually mean that. I just meant that as I was puffing up, but I can't puff up because there's no room here. I think if I breathe too hard, the door will pop open.
Okay, but
It
we're
doesn't
gonna-
latch very well.
Yeah, well, I really hope no one finds the three of us in here together.
Well, there's definitely not room for a fourth.
I think when that happens, there's a knock on the door, and Bar Hazuk's voice goes, "Is there room for me in there?" He's not asking to use the bathroom, obviously, because he's a robot, but he knows that we're in here, and he just likes us so much that he's like, "What's going on, you guys?"
We're busy in here. Hold on. Occupied. Okay. Yes. Clearly, we're gonna do the Conclave 01 job because that was the plan. And if I'm known for anything, it's for sticking to the plan.
I don't think that's what you're known for, Faye.
Okay. Well, I could be known for it. Just give me the opportunity.
Maybe
like-
one day.
Boz is just sort of like back, forth, back.
All right. So the only issue I have, man, I wish we could fit Barzook in here. The only issue I have is I don't really understand this job. We're gonna go find some precursor artifact maybe before
Before the bad guys get it.
Yeah.
That's
it's not
pretty much the
Malclaith.
whole
It's
thing.
some other
Isn't
noble.
it Malclaith?
No,
I think
it's
it is.
someone else. I don't know. It's somebody who's coming to visit him. I can't remember. Too many nobles.
Aaron
Anyway,
Alberon.
yeah.
Alberon.
Somebody wants to get the Alvaron wants to get the artifact that can control a bunch of these Urbots, and we're gonna get it first. Because whenever someone wants to steal something really dangerous, the best thing to do is steal it faster. So that's why
That is the Stardancer way.
Yes. Great.
And then luckily we'll be in the Breck system. See, things just keep coming up Stardancer.
Yeah.
And,
I
and we'll
think
just steal other things.
that sounds great. But Boz, what happened with that Ben, the Urbot consciousness that we took from that ship?
Pretend that the conversation that Boz is going to go have with Barhozook has already happened, and I answer that question because Boz hasn't had a chance, in fact, to go ask Barhozook.
Oh, well, let's flash back to that conversation.
So, what does that scene look like?
Yeah.
Cool. So where are you talking to Barhozook? Is it on the ship?
I feel like this would have happened on the ship sometime over the course of probably not before landing on Amaranth because we were busy and Barhozook was minding someone who was laid out and trying to get, So I think just in the process of the day.
Cool. So I think that Barhozook. So if you recall, when you entered the ship, you pulled open a smuggling compartment,
Huffed it.
the core and just closed it. So I think that it's probably a couple of days, as you guys are approaching Amaranth, Barhozook probably finds you and says, asks about the status of the core.
Oh, yeah.
He says, where is she?
She? Yeah. Here. Sorry. Let me show you. Here. And I will, Boz will kind of unfailingly go back and, open this thing and shoulder deep go fetch. How big of a cube is been?
It's like a glass. The way that I'm envisioning this is like a glass pyramid, and you see holographic circuit boards of in layers and stuff inside it. And you see some of those the little lines coming out of it. The
pathways.
Yeah. I would guess. So in general, most of them are pretty small. They're maybe the size of a fist. And they can be mounted into drones of all shapes and sizes. This one's a little bit larger than most. I would say that it's maybe the size of a computer monitor. It's not that huge.
Okay, great. And I will fish that out and sort of, what needs to. Barhozook, I don't know how to.
He makes weird, sad robot noises and reaches for it.
Oh no!
And he looks at it and shakes his head and says, "So unfortunate. In some ways, she's lost so much." He's looking at this thing and it looks just fine to you, but he seems to be sad, right? And he looks at it and says, in some ways, she will have lost. The world is a poorer place because we have lost so much. But perhaps it is for the best that her memories are gone. And he caresses the little pyramid as if, it's obviously got no neurons, so it doesn't feel anything, but he's treating it like it can feel
sure.
something.
And this is you see Boz sort of flash back to that very dicey surgery gone awry, trying to extract Ben's core. And
right.
Is
where it didn't go quite right.
Yeah. Is there anything we need to do? What do you need? What does Ben need? I don't. Do you
Ben.
know?
That's not her designation, but
What then?
he-
What is?
it is a word from an old forgotten language for wind. Um, he'll say something like I don't know, something like the Airu or something. Oh wait, we said D names, like maybe Dairu. There we go. But yeah, he shakes his head, but says, when she awakens, she will be the same person, but remember nothing. And in some ways, our memories are things that shape us.
So not the same person.
We are not quite like organics. In some ways, our soul is much stronger than yours. She will be the same person. She will just, at the same time, not be. It is not as clear cut as all that.
Never is. Well, if you need anything,
I would not mind finding a frame for her.
yeah.
We might as well start reactivating her as soon as possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like that's a good scene.
Great.
We can flash back to the present where
Great.
the question was asked about what to do about this.
Yeah.
Great. And Boz will be like, let's see, what's Boz say? Oh, I'm going to find a frame for D.
And Lauren is like squished and knocks against the door, and he's like, "Barzuk, you still there?" And I think he is. He's like,
Oh, sure, yeah. He'll make the standard Barhazuk rumbly growl noise that he makes. It sounds like grinding gears.
"Yeah." They're like, "Where do we find a frame for D?"
So Urbots are very flexible creatures. All you need to do is find a drone or a vehicle or something that's like bigger than her core, and she can start integrating with it.
Did they ever integrate into? Well, she did. She previously integrated into a ship because that's
ship.
where we found her.
Mhm.
So theoretically, we already have a frame.
That's
Not
true.
that I particularly want to plug D into the Stardancer, but if worse came to worse, we do have a vessel that she could connect up to. But Faye sort of says this like, not that I'm saying we should do this, because clearly that was a terrible plan last time it happened. But
D
if we,
doesn't remember anything.
that doesn't mean that it wasn't terrible when she was connected up to the last machine. I'm sorry. Well, I don't know. She kind of wasn't that nice to us. Maybe it would be good if she doesn't remember that conversation.
Lauren knocks.
Faye
on
is
the-
not
on the
thinking
door.
about like the larger, like this is a person's life. She's, yeah.
Lauren knocks on the door again. It's like, "Barhazuk, what happened to her?"
I don't know. We had very little time. She was frantic.
At this juncture, like Boz will reach through the two of you and like pop the door open to the bathroom.
And you like half fall out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that's when we pile out, yeah.
You tumble onto Barhazuk, who's still this giant robot, but he's sitting like cross-legged with his big ass like tarp robes that he wears. And you tumble next to him. He's like, "Hello, organics."
And I imagine that Carrie's like walking across the hallway the other way. So we're in a hallway that goes this way, and she just happens to cross the hallway and sees this happen and like looks at us and just like sighs and shakes her head and keeps going. She's like, "These fucking people."
And then gets trounced by Burden.
Yeah. Our ship is terrible. We're the worst.
The worst.
So we should probably go to break. So
Yeah.
do you wanna make a plan now, or do you wanna do that when we
We'll do a plan when we come back. The only thing that I want to know is there any consensus on whether Barhazuk should be allowed to attempt to reintegrate D into the ship systems?
Absolutely not.
That's
Yeah.
not a
That's
first
the
step.
plan, right?
Yeah.
Boz, was that a no?
That was a not yet. First, a frame that's not the ship.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to a place where there are a bunch of robots. We
Yeah.
think.
No, I think we're gonna get an artifact that can control robots. I don't think we're gonna get. Yeah, no. Faye is not. Faye suggested it as a worst case scenario.
I will
Not
point
it.
out that there is an upgrade for the ship that says AI core. You can just check a little box. I'm just saying.
Yeah, sure.
They
Right.
have.
We totally want D as our.
Yeah, I
AI
do.
core.
I don't know.
She was not nice to us.
She was a little off her rocker.
Yeah. All right. Okay. We'll be back shortly. See you all soon.